Well, Kelly's Court is back in session. On the docket today, a 3-year-old girl is flown from a carnival ride. Flung from, I should say, even though she met the height requirements. Who's to blame? This is horrifying, but we are told she's okay. It happened in Houston, Texas. This is the ride in question, the Techno Jump. It has a belt that goes across your lap and a restraining bar that comes down. No one is allowed on the Techno Jump unless they meet the height and weight requirements. The little girl, who is tall for her age, we're told did meet the requirements, but that did not stop her from falling off the ride. It was caught on tape. You can see her highlighted on your screen. Watch this. Dangling from the ride. Hold on. Look at this. Watch. Look at her. Look at her. Unbelievable. We're told she fell about 8 feet to the ground. She was taken to the hospital, and we are told that she suffered contusions, a contusion on the side of her head, but a CAT scan shows no serious injuries. Thank God for that. Now, her mother declined to get on the ride with her. She was with her 8-year-old brother, and now Carnival officials say it's not their fault, but they will enforce a new policy now.
Ride operators are not going to let a child that's under 48 inches of height ride on a ride if the companion's not an adult. The thing I want to emphasize to parents, be responsible when you come out here.
Now there are reports that the girl's parents have hired a lawyer, but do they have a case? Joining me now, Fox News legal analyst Lise Wheel and former prosecutor and co-host of The Five, Kimberly Guilfoyle. So this, is horrifying. Now, we're all mothers on this panel. Can we just agree none of us would allow our 3-year-old to go on the ride alone?
Correct.
I wouldn't even let my 3-year-old go on the merry-go-round sitting in the thing, not even on the horse seat. Right. Never mind on this, right?
Exactly.
But this mother made a different choice. And the question is, Lise, whether having made that different choice, she's got a case since this ride was in compliance with the Carnival's policy at the time.
That's right. As horrible as this is, and as these stories happen so often, really all the time, Megan, and a perfect example that for more regulation being needed, the fact is they did meet the regulations. They did meet the height and weight requirements. They did meet the insurance requirements, the licensing requirements. This had just been inspected, Megan, the day before and passed inspection. So under Texas law, they're not liable.
It was, of course, it passed inspection, Kimberly, because the ride was functioning as it's meant to function.
Correct.
This wasn't a malfunction.
No.
It was the case of a 3-year-old of this height and size never should have been on the ride. It's certainly not without a parent next to her.
Yeah, and in terms of analyzing the case, if you look at this, there's not going to be a criminal case here. And yes, they did comply with the existing regulations, but guess what? They've already made a change, and that's a post-remedial modification that can be used against them in a court of law. There will be a civil case. There should be brought, because what are you supposed to get? One free child, oh my bad bump, and then we'll do better next time? I don't think so.
Right, they are so lucky that little girl is okay.
Yeah, this shows that the ride is not safe. And in fact, the insurance company should be responsible. There's been a legal breach, there's a duty, and there's proximate cause proven here in terms of direct damages sustained by the little girl.
But Lise, how is the mother going to fare before a jury trying to blame this on the Carnival when she, at the last minute, abandoned her own child and said, go on by yourself with your 8-year-old brother?
With a 3-year-old, exactly. What's going to happen if this ever gets in front of a jury, and it probably won't, it'll probably settle out of court, but if it did, that's exactly what's going to happen. The mother is going to be pitted against this company, which met all the regulations, which did everything supposedly right, was within the law, didn't do any more than they could have done within the law, but was within the law, the Texas regulations. Then they're going to look at the mother and go, just like the three of us said, we would never have done that. We would never have let our 3-year-old child go onto this ride.
So it's going to be a comparative negligence kind of thing. You're going to have a guardian appointed for the kid, Kimberly. Yeah. Because if I were representing the kid as the daughter as her guardian, I'd go after the mother and the ride. And
I hear what you're saying, but before we mom bash here, let's throttle back for a second, because the mom did comply with the regulations. The regulations, as they're presently stated, don't say that an adult has to accompany it. It says somebody of that height. Do you understand? So the brother, who's 8 years old, was there. The mom didn't do anything wrong technically, legally. Same with the company saying that. But nevertheless, they're not going to be able to say the mom had, child abuse or negligence. The problem is the ride really wasn't safe.
Yeah, and those are tough cases to bring in any event. again on her behalf. Lisa, let me ask you this. So the policy allowed it, the law allowed it. Can you still sue even though the law was ridiculous?
You can sue, of course you can sue, but the law is the law, and until those regulations are changed, that's an ultimate defense, which is to say we met the requirements. If you in Texas want to change the regulations, fine, go ahead and do that.
So now they're saying they're going to require the mother to go on the ride.
An adult.
Just change the height. They need
exactly.
bigger. The kid needs to be bigger. 3-year-olds can't go on those rides. All right, got to leave it at that. Thank you both.